Welcome, everyone. We are live for another Coach Factory webinar. I am so excited that you are here. I would love to hear where you're watching from. Can I just complain a little bit? I am in North Texas and I woke up this morning and it felt like Canada. It was so cold and it was snowing and it was lake effect snow. Now, I grew up around Chicago, so I know what lake effect snow is. It's not supposed to happen in Texas. So it's a little cold here, but I feel spicy and hot about this content. I am excited to talk about leads because all of our business is dependent on customers, right? And every customer starts out as a lead and every business needs leads into a pipeline to close sales. And I want to talk about a different way to think about sales and marketing and some strategies you can use today to find more leads and get those qualified leads into your sales pipeline. But I want to know about you. Where are you guys watching from? Tell me it's a warm, balmy beach somewhere. Drop it in the comments. I'd love to know where you're coming from. Hi, Nancy. I'm glad you're here. Diego, tell me how warm it is in Argentina so that I can live vicariously through your warmth. I'm so happy that you're here and I am excited about this content. I started thinking about this 75 in Arizona. Love it. Thank you. I will soak up some of that Valley of the Sun right here. Washington, D.C., and it's snowing. Atlanta, Joe, nice to see you here. Hopefully, it is not cold there, but it is a funky winter for us here in the United States. Oh, Peoria, Illinois. Bob, glad you're here. I went to college at Bradley, so I'm very familiar. Have an Avanti gondola for me because I miss those so much. 43 in Atlanta. That is cold. And a rainy summer's day in South Africa. Jason, we are so happy that you are here. And hopefully that's a nice, warm, soothing rain for you there in South Africa. So excited that you all are here. And I am excited about this content. I started thinking about all of this when I was standing in a Starbucks. My daughter, who's 16, loves a good Starbucks. It's hard not to. One of you, when you stick around to the end, is going to be a recipient of a Starbucks gift card. We'll contact you after the webinar this afternoon and arrange the delivery of that. So I'm standing with my daughter and we're waiting for our order. And the barista is asking, "So, how's your day going?" And I'm like, "It was a pretty busy day, had a lot going on." And she's, "What do you do?" So I told her a little bit about what I did. And this other person, this guy who was waiting for his order as well, "What's motivation code?" Funny you should ask. So I get into a conversation about motivation code and how it works on your stories, how it is based upon 60 years of scientific research into the science of motivation. And he's going to have to check that out. Did I walk into Starbucks that day to find a lead? I most certainly didn't. I was looking for a nice, warm, toasty latte, and my daughter was getting all of her stuff, but the lead was there. And just through a simple conversation that I didn't even start, it led into a discussion about the work I do. Now, I know it's different in a lot of countries. Americans are very much into, "So, what do you do?" Small talk type of thing. So, it makes it very easy to get into these kinds of conversations. But it just struck me as I stood there in Starbucks. Wow, every single person in this restaurant right now is a lead if I only had the opportunity to talk to them. So, we're going to talk a little bit about the leads everywhere, a different way to think about your reality and the people in your reality and how that works with your business. I hope that story inspires you the next time you are in any kind of coffee shop or restaurant and someone asks what you do, how that could turn into a business opportunity for you. Let's get some slides on the screen and let's start talking about how to find leads everywhere and how to get them on your calendar. I hope that guy went and took the M code assessment and figured out how he's motivated. I really believe in the assessment and how well it helps people understand themselves because it was just a one off conversation. I didn't go chase him down to make sure or anything like that, but it was a deeper conversation. Maybe I would have. But let's think about sales and marketing. Now, everybody talks about leads and funnels and getting people into your qualified leads, and there's all kinds of terminology. But honestly, when we really start thinking about leads, it's really it's just about people, right? It's about people and how we relate to one another. It's about finding people who have a problem that you can solve. If we think about leads and sales and marketing in our business from a service standpoint, from how can we help people? How can we be of service to the world? And I know each of you as a coach, you're not in coaching just to make money, right? I have never met a coach who's in it just for the money. The money's nice. Eating and getting Starbucks is always a positive. But each coach that I've talked to, there is a deep passion within them to be of service, to find people that they can help. And I want you to just center on that when you think about sales, marketing, and leads, because it's going to make this whole process so much more fun and it's going to feed your intrinsic motivation. It's going to create a flywheel of success when you consider being of service. Of course, we have to think also about who is our ideal client. The guy in Starbucks was not necessarily an ideal client. We talked more about motivation code than we talked about what he actually did in his profession. He might not have been an ideal client, but he ended up being a lead. But when you're talking about coaching, you want the clients that let you up. You want the clients that fit, the clients that make you excited to come to work every day. So it's really important that we understand who our ideal client is, that we create an avatar of these are the people that I love working with. For example, you might be a fitness coach, but when you work with someone who is competing, like an athlete or someone who has any kind of outcome, and that's exciting to you, you might be an achiever or a driver, and outcomes are incredibly important to you. It might light you up more. You have to know yourself and what motivates you and how that fits with an ideal client. Spend some time really thinking about who these people are. Like in that Starbucks, not everyone there was going to be an ideal client for talking about M code, but there may have been a couple. And if I know who my ideal client is, it's going to help me better understand who I'm talking to and better be able to recognize those people. Maybe like a light comes over their head and it's, oh, I can tell just by the words that someone is using that this person is a visionary. And I love working with visionaries because I'm a visionary myself. Those kinds of lights start to go on the more you create in your mind the pattern of the people that you like to work with. If you don't know who you want to work with and you're just trying to throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, it's not going to be a fulfilling experience because you're going to have more failures and more misfits than you are going to have the fit of that ideal client. So knowing who we're after for our leads is incredibly important. And of course, you have to understand yourself. You have to understand what makes you unique. What makes you the ideal person to work with, the ideal client? Let's use fitness coaching again. There's 1,000 of them. They're easy to use as an example because there's so many of them. But not all fitness coaches are made the same. Not all fitness coaches have the same experiences. A couple of years ago, my husband had a stroke. And so I'm a caregiver. If I were a fitness coach, just because of all the experiences that I have gone through, I would be looking for people who have just gone through a health event in their family, and they're at the beginning stages of understanding what it is to be a caregiver. My unique experience that thankfully not a lot of people have had to go through, that unique experience is some way that I can be of service. So the older you get, the more fitness you need. I'm a living proof of that. I went through a period of time where I was managing my stress through scones. I don't recommend that as a strategy. I blew out my blood sugar, was like sky high one day, and it was a huge wake up call. I had to make a decision to start taking better care of myself. I went through a lot with that, but because of that unique experience and that unique story, if I wanted to be a fitness coach, I would find other people in that demographic because I have a unique value that I can add to them. I can meet them where they're at because I understand that. So, what things do you do that you can combine two things that are very unique. Two things that might not be the same. You might not see them in the same way. Caregivers and fitness, those don't necessarily go together. I have a lot of security experience, hacking and unhacking and all of that. I understand how basic security works. And I also have a ton of marketing experience. I put those things together and I ended up as director of marketing for a security company. I did not see that as a life path, but it ended up happening because those very unique things came together as a perfect storm, as a unique value that I could provide to an organization. What do you do that no one else has ever done? Now, nothing new under the sun, but there's some things that you do that are incredibly unique. This helps you identify who your unique ideal clients are because you have unique services. So, your experience, what you're known for is also incredibly important. Joe, I'm just going to pop you on the screen because that's like a perfect example. A hockey coach and an executive coach, there are hockey organizations out there that have to run a business, right? And that is a perfect way to try to find two unique things that can come together and give you unique value for a specific ideal client as well. You have to be aware of what excites you and what motivates you. And I'll just pitch motivation code a little bit because I'm sure many of you have already taken the M code assessment. But if you haven't, we'll have a coupon code later in the presentation. But knowing what really excites you is going to help you communicate to people and find leads much easier. Have you thought about what your sales philosophy is? Whenever I think about sales, I always remember the movie Glengarry Glen Ross. I'm sure you've seen it. Alec Baldwin is the sales guy that comes into an office and he's, I've given you the leads. Coffee is for closers. Get out there and sell. And their job was to take these stack of leads and close them. And the job was just to close the leads. And it was like a one and done type of thing. You get a card, you go and you sell the person, and then you move on to the next sales prospect, to the next lead. This way of thinking about sales just doesn't work in coaching. It doesn't work in most businesses today. People expect something more. Now, if you're selling something huge like a car and somebody's not going to buy a car again for 5 years, still think about that person that you just sold a car to or that you just sold a big ticket coaching program to. Think about that person in a different way. It is more about the relationship. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why in a minute. But that relationship that you have with that person turns into something else. Coaching sales is never one and done. You can't just be closing. Your job is to build your network, to build a referral network, and to build your brand. And the only way you're going to do that is through establishing relationships with as many people as possible and then be able to identify which ones are qualified leads. Our goal is to create a flywheel. In a perfect world, let's paint where we're going. Leads are showing up in your inbox. You wake up in the morning, pick up your phone, and you've already got leads there ready to respond to. Referrals are happening without even having to ask. People are telling others they're in their network, hey, you should go talk to Joe. You should talk to Jason. The leads are automatically qualified for your service or product. That means when you're waking up in the morning and you see a new lead, you already know that person is fitting your ideal profile for what a client looks like. Then we want to have automations to ensure that leads are coming in consistently. We want to minimize manual outreach and we want to maximize efficiency. And then once we have things going, once we have this flywheel of leads coming in effortlessly, then we want to make sure that feedback loops are happening with our clients so that it refines the quality of incoming leads so that we are always aiming for that ideal customer profile. So you have to start where you are. No matter what you're doing in life, you have to start where you are. If you're starting a fitness program, you have to start where you are. You're not getting to 6% body fat just because you've decided, right? You have to start where you are. And I know you already have a list. You already have qualified leads somewhere. You just have to find them. If you go into your email inbox, let's say you use email, actually, I went and looked at this because I wanted to double check it. And oh my gosh, it saves the email addresses of everyone I've ever had a contact with. So all of my husband's former clients are in there just because I did customer service for him. People that I spoke to when we lived in Arizona. Oh, warm Arizona. Uh, my kids, parents of my kids, that I don't talk to anymore. These people were former neighbors and friends, and I don't really talk to them anymore, but they're still there. So my email is full of prospects that I just need to mine. I have followers on social media. I'm sure you do too. You could possibly DM them if you can. They're considered part of your list. On your phone, there's probably a ton of contacts in there that you haven't talked to in a while, but there's still a contact. There's still a possible lead. And of course, old clients. I was on Facebook and I was in a group and someone was talking about how their business was slowing down. And someone else suggested, have you asked any old clients? And that person came back in like a few days later and said, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that. I reached out to an old client just to say hi, and they wanted to work with me again. Your leads are all there. You just have to ask them. So we're going to start with where you are, and I have a strategy that you can use. We're going to get to that in a minute. And you just have to get social. You just have to talk to people. You have to be open to those opportunities and be able to recognize when your ideal customer, when the light goes on over their head that this person is your ideal customer, that you can recognize that as quickly as possible and ensure that they are a qualified lead. So let's start from zero. Let's say you just started, or let's say that business is slow. You can take your list, your email contacts, your social media followers, you can take the people on your phone and you can reach out to them. Now, nobody wants, I'm sure you're on LinkedIn. How many LinkedIn messages do you get on a daily basis of someone pitching you what SEO services, lead generation services? It's endless, right? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants those cold, blind DMs. What do people want? Think about it. Everyone wants to talk about themselves. Everybody wants a conversation. People like being social. And if you know anything about people, they love to talk about themselves. My daughter, actually, it's kind of funny. She's only 16 years old, but she said to me, and I was just like blown away by this, I don't worry too much about what other people think of me. Everybody else is worried about themselves. I wish I had that emotional maturity at 16. I don't know where she got it. She didn't get it from me. I'm like socially neurotic half the time. But she was aware that everybody else is thinking about themselves and they want to talk about themselves. So let's do that. So let's say you have your 100 people that you are going to target, and you take the first few of them and you look and see that, oh, Jane just got married. Reach out to Jane. "Oh my gosh, I just noticed that you got married. That's so cool. Did you do a destination wedding?" Or some kind of question that allows them to start talking about a major milestone event in their life. It could be anything. Someone moved. I don't know if you've moved across country or even across the city. Packing your entire life into boxes and moving takes up every inch of mental bandwidth that you have. Asking somebody about their move starts a conversation. Talk to something that's important to them. If you can't find anything, figure out something related in the news. If one of your contacts is in Philadelphia and they like football, there's a conversation. Wow, you guys really blew out the Chiefs. That must have been so exciting. They're still excited and they still want to talk about it. Just like we talked about last week when we talked about public speaking, people want an excuse to feel good. They want an excuse to remember something that's positive in their life. So if you're talking about like a new grandkid, any kind of positive experience that they've shared on their social media in their life, engage them about that. Give them permission to feel good. If they started a fitness program, ask them about that. You're not selling. You do not want to sell in a DM ever. You want to be a human and you want to be a good friend. When you do this, it strengthens relationships. And if they're a good friend, they're eventually going to ask, "What's up with you? Hey, I get to talk now. This is great." Now you get to tell them, "Oh my gosh, I'm doing this new thing." And tell them a little bit about it and tell them what's exciting to you about it. You're just having a conversation with a friend. Next, ask them, "Do you know anybody who might benefit from this?" You're not asking them for the sale. You're not asking them for anything other than a referral to help and be of service to someone else. Now, if you are just starting out and you have a new program that you're selling or a new service that you're offering, or maybe you have a new mastermind group that you want to invite people to, or something that's brand new, tell them that you're offering a free service because you're looking for 5 case studies because that's all you can handle, and you're just looking to get some testimonials for whatever it is that's new. And then you tell them a little bit about, "I just worked with a very specific person to help them get to a dream outcome, even though they were in a struggle." So just so you're setting up, painting a picture of a problem and a solution so that they can get a picture of that. Some people have to have a visual that they can see. Some people have to feel it kinesthetically. Other people need to hear it auditorily. We all take in information in different ways, but you're just trying to paint a picture and then let them know you're just trying to get some testimonials from people that you can be of service to. Do you know anyone like that? You're not asking them to do it. You're asking them, do they know anyone? You're asking them for a referral, for a free service. They want to be of service. They want to help. Everybody wants to help. So it's a perfect opportunity. Now, of 100 people, if you're just starting, all you want to do is get 5, right? If you can get 5 people to do a free program, free coaching call with you, free anything that you can just get some testimonials on, boom, you're in business. Referrals are gold. Referred leads, higher conversion rates that can be as much as 30% higher than leads you generate from other methods. Referred leads close almost 70% faster. Referred customers have a higher lifetime value, meaning that they stick with you longer. They are worth up to 25% more. And referrals reduce customer acquisition costs, of course, and they have a 37% retention rate. The leads that you find through a referral are going to be much higher value than the leads you find anywhere else. Now, let's say you do this exercise and you take your 100 people, you get your 5 testimonials, go and get the next 100 people. And now you're selling a discount. Offer a discounted service. And do you know anyone who could use this service? Now you're asking for a little bit more. So maybe you don't get 5 out of 100. Maybe you only get 3, but you still are getting clients. And now you have those 5 testimonials, adding credibility to what you're doing. Combine that with referrals, and it's a magic sales formula. I know talking to 100 people is a lot, but if you're just starting and your pipeline is pretty weak right now, you've got to do this. And I know I'm telling you all of this, and it sounds so much easier when someone's telling you than it is when you're just like picking up your phone and you're DMing someone or sending a text message to someone. But once you do it a few times, just like lifting weights, once you do it a few times, it's going to hurt, but then it's going to get easier and you're going to be rejected. And those rejections are going to be easier because you're just going to keep going. As long as you keep showing up, it gets easier. All right. So there's your outreach strategy. You have your leads, they are there. It's just, are you going to approach them? Let's talk now about leads from content. We're all online and we're all creating content. We're all creating social media posts and we're creating blog posts, maybe even a podcast or YouTube videos. Make sure that all of the content that you are creating provides value to that ideal client. You want to have consistent calls to action in your content, and you ultimately, in everything that you're doing, every post that you make on social media, every blog post, drive those people to some kind of offer that you can give them, some kind of free download, anything that you can offer them onto your email list. You want to get people on your email list because those are the people that you can have more intimate conversations. When you're blasting out to social media, it's going out to an algorithm. Please work for me, algorithm. But once they're on your list, then you can have more intimate conversations with them. Now, I just did this. I do a podcast. It's called Zantastic. My ideal customer for that podcast is content creators. I work with a number of people who do their own podcasts and they just put the podcasts out. And I'm like, oh, you got to support it with some marketing. So I'm trying to show them how you do that. So I just did one on emails and why emails are so important. You can find it on YouTube, or zantastic.me is the site if you're super into that. But one of the things I did to demonstrate what needs to get done is I had to do some research on email service providers because I was really frustrated with the one that I was using for my personal site. And so I went through and I made a list of all of them and I started ranking all of the features and started testing all of them. So I created a document where I evaluated all of these ESPs and what you need to do in order to choose an ESP, turned it into a PDF. And that is what I give away if somebody signs up to the list. They get tagged in my email service provider as someone who's interested in email service providers. So, should I ever have any kind of product that I want to sell them about email, I know that I already have a targeted ideal customer list that perfectly matches that product. I don't have a product for that, but I just wanted to demonstrate to people that I was talking to about podcasts, this is how you do it. It's very simple. So you can do that with your coaching. There are plenty of things that you can just put into a PDF and just tag people in your email service provider as someone who completed a form about the specific problem, and then send them that PDF and then nurture them with some sequences, some emails after that, which you can automate in pretty much all of the email service providers to encourage engagement. In this way, some of those leads will automatically start qualifying themselves as people who are interested in whatever you're offering. So, here's the example content post because followers, I don't know if you've experienced this, but followers on social media, first of all, X is not Twitter anymore. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's way different than it was. There are new social media networks popping up that everybody's trying to get a handle on. Facebook engagement is weird. You're not seeing things that you follow as much as you're seeing ads or suggested pages that I've never even heard of anymore. It's all very strange. So you really have to work it. If you're doing any kind of social media marketing, you have to stop the scroll. You have to challenge an assumption. You have to make a bold statement. You have to show a case study, something very specific. And I'm sure you might have seen this. I've seen this a number of times on like Instagram and TikTok, where someone will say, here's this bold statement. I'm making millions of dollars. If you want my secret on how to do this, comment the word secret down below. And then you do that and it gives you some kind of PDF, some kind of download, but then you're on the email list. And I'm sure those people are all tagged in the email service provider. You get them on your list and then you nurture them into some kind of relationship that ultimately ends up on a free coaching call where you can start going deeper with that person and evaluate whether or not they fit that ideal customer profile. This is not the same as talking to people that you automatically know. You're going to be much more successful with your list, basically. Everyone in your email, everyone that you know on social media already, people who are following you, and people on your phone contacts. Those people, that's a relationship already. You already know these people, and people coming in from like content posts, you don't know them at all. You don't, maybe you know some people in the same social network, but these are blind. So you're going to have to do some more work to really qualify them to see if they are going to match that ideal customer. Every page on your site, your website, should have some kind of lead capture call to action. Especially for coaches, this is so critically important because you have to be able to have some kind of conversation to get some kind of information from them in order to understand who they are and what it is that you can do in order to serve them. So, even a blog post, let's say you write a blog post, you're in the fitness industry and you write a specific blog post about why they should take care of themselves. Have a form at the end of that blog post. If this kind of content was good for you, if you got something from this, you can get more by getting on my list. Tag anybody on that form. You can do it with hidden fields. Your email service provider will show you how to do this. You just tag them. It came from this blog post. You know where the pain was agitated, where the intrigue was offered to them, and then you can have conversations with them. Now, on your lead forms, especially for coaches, this is so important. Have a field that asked who referred you, especially like on a generic contact form, who referred you. If they leave it blank, that's fine. If they add a name, thank your people who refer you. Just a quick email. Hey, so and so reached out to me and I just wanted to thank you for referring them. If someone refers you repeatedly, they need something nice. Buy them a Christmas gift, buy them some kind of gift, take them out to lunch if they're local. Do something nice for the people who refer you. Remember those statistics about referred leads, how critically important those referrals are. Make sure you say thank you to the people who are referring you. It's going to inspire them to do something else. Maybe if you buy somebody a gift card for referring you and it turns out to be an ideal client that actually does close with you want to make sure that you say thank you to the person who brought that business to you in a way that is commensurate to whatever happened, right? If it was just a lead and it didn't close, just say thank you. If it was a big client that changes your life, you want to do something special. Also, if you are not using a calendar system such as Calendly, there's TidyCal, there's SavvyCal, there's Book Like a Boss, there's a ton of different automated calendar programs that will hook into your calendar, your online calendar, and block out the times that you are busy. If you're not using something like this, do that because it's going to automate the process. You don't want to go back and forth trying to find the perfect time to meet with a prospect. It reduces friction for them as well. They're just like, "Oh, okay, here's my calendar. Oh, that time's perfect for me." They get to pick the time, they get to auto select that, and it reduces friction for booking you. Incredibly important for those initial free get to know us, get to know you, get to know me types of calls. You want to remove any friction possible. Now, we all get busy, don't we? I get busy. You need to block time for lead nurturing. You need to block time for being able to identify those ideal clients. On your calendar every week, just block out some time where you're going to do some additional lead nurture. Even if you're busy and you have, oh, I've got more leads than I can handle. You do not want to get into a situation where you're so focused on serving existing clients that you forget to do marketing because it ends up creating a roller coaster of cash flow. And as coaches, it's uncomfortable, right? You don't like it when it's like, oh my gosh, I've been working with all these clients and they're all tapering off of their programs. And now I don't have anybody in the pipeline. So you need to make sure that you block out time to nurture leads and to find additional leads, to find additional referrals, and to open up those conversations with people in your network. If you are sensing that a slowdown might happen, find another 100 people on that list from your email, from your phone, from your social media to reach out to and just have that very personal friend to friend conversation to ask them how they're doing. Set a time aside to post content that is intriguing to your audience, to your ideal customer. If you're doing a podcast, if you're doing YouTube videos, make sure you set regular time aside to do it and regular time to post content to social media. Now, you can batch and schedule content. It's the way most of us are doing it, where we set aside the one day that I do my hair and it's not in a ponytail is the day that I try to do all of my recording and get everything set up for the next week or so. And then also set aside some time where you can engage on other people's posts in your network. Support other people in what they're doing. It just brings you top of mind. It helps you become known as someone who's there, someone who's open to conversations. It reminds people, hey, I still exist and I am still the person who is the expert at hockey coaching and executive coaching. Those types of things, it just brings people top of mind. Oh, I know somebody who's getting into hockey. I need to make sure that Joe has this referral. Those types of things happen when you're engaging with other people. Now, there's another way to get those very valuable referrals, and that's if you become a Motivation Code certified coach. We have a coaching directory. If you are a certified coach, you're listed on our site and you get referrals for people who are coming to us looking for someone to help them understand their Motivation Code report. These are called impact sessions. And if you are a certified coach, impact sessions are a way that we can refer clients to you. So if you have considered becoming a Motivation Code certified coach, there are two different levels. There is just the certified M Code coach, and then there's executive coach. It allows you to differentiate yourself. You get to say that you're a M Code certified coach on your site, but you're also listed on our site, which leads to people exploring, how can I find out more about this? We also actively do refer to our coaching network. So if people are coming to us, like, help us understand what's happening here, or I've got my team taking this and I really need help figuring all of this kind of stuff up. We don't do all of that. We manage all of the stuff happening with M Code and Coach Factory, but our coaches, they are perfectly set up to do that type of thing. And if you're an executive coach, you can earn up to $7,500 for conducting team workshops. It is one of the best ways to grow your business in 2025, to get referrals and to get new customers in. So if that is something that is of interest to you, you can reach out to me, zant.com slash VIP. You can set up a call with me and I would love to talk to you. I'll talk to you about anything. I talked to another coach last week and we just talked about all sorts of things as it pertained to their coaching business. So you can book me at any time. And if you are one of the few people who have not yet gotten your own M Code report, you can get that for just $19. It's $19, but if you use Coach Go, you get 25% off of that. And the full report gives you robust detail about who you are and what motivates you. And once you start understanding this framework, it helps you really understand who your ideal customers are too. Helps you let go of the things that don't serve you. Like for me, my primary dimensions are visionary, the purple one there. And then my secondary is influencer, the yellow one. And then achiever is my third. And so I know I love to talk big ideas. I love to talk about making a giant impact in the world. So if somebody's talking those types of things, because I know that those are my people. If somebody's talking about, let's get all of this into Asana and see how it looks, it's not gonna be my people. I value Asana. I value the people who can do all of that work so much. But Motivation Code, I think the biggest thing that I got from it is to really lean into who I am and let go of what I'm not, even though I value it. I was talking to someone last week about, like, my lowest motivations that will rank all of the motivations that support these 8 dimensions, and I was looking at the 5 bottom dimensions, where my, like, burnout zone is, but I like those things. One of them was collaborating, and I'm like, "I love people. What's wrong? I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense to me. Why would collaborate be, like, one of my burnout zones?" And I realized that it's a burnout if it doesn't feed, like, my higher motivations of making an impact. If I'm not making an impact and I have to collaborate with somebody on something that doesn't matter and doesn't have an impact and isn't of service to the larger community as a whole, then it's not motivating to me. But as long as I can lean into those upper motivations, it all makes sense to me. So, Motivation Code can really help you understand yourself, your business, and your clients. So here's some more details on getting certified as an M Code coach, all of the things that you get with that. And then if you're an executive coach, that information is all here as well. There's more with that because you are working with teams and executives. So that is it. I am open for any questions or even commentary. You can just drop those in the chat. Sean, who's the executive director of Coach Factory is dropping some links down below as well. And if you are not yet, I think all of you are probably a free Coach Factory VIP member because it's free, right? And we have so many resources there. I just went over the site yesterday and started looking at all of the free resources. There's over 50 resources that can help you run your coaching business, and we are creating more all the time. So that is all amazing stuff, and it's all free. And then you can join the Facebook group. You can go to Coach Factory Community, just search for that there. And of course, we're on all of the other social media networks as well. And if you want to just find me, I am at Kathy's Aunt everywhere. I feel sorry for all the other Kathy's Aunts because I've stolen the handle anywhere I can grab it. But I would love to connect with you and learn more about your coaching business. I mentioned it in previous live streams, but my husband, before all of the stroke, he was a coach. He was a neurolinguistic programming coach and was working with people all over the world, worked with a number of celebrities and some really amazing people. So coaching is something that is very dear to my heart. It's something that's very important to me. And I know how challenging it can be. There's a lot of challenges in running a coaching business, from dealing with a customer that you just it's just not working, to how do I find more? How do I find more? So I wanted to share this strategy with you about how to find those leads, how to nurture your network. We talked last week about going out and doing speaking engagements. You can find that if you weren't here. That's up on our YouTube channel, so you can watch that at any speed that you want. And there's timestamps there too. But getting out and speaking is an amazing way, or just attending conferences where you know your ideal customers and prospects are. Then you can just sit and lunch and so, how do you use whatever product, or what do you do? And just start a conversation. When you start a conversation talking about other people and let them speak, it is so critical because it not only gives them that good feeling of someone's really interested in me, but it also helps you as a coach really start to gather the words that they're saying, how they're describing things, and you can really start to see whether or not that light is going to go on over their head of ideal client. This is the person for me. But if you do all the talking, you're never going to have that experience, and you're never going to give them that experience. So it's going to make the sales process much harder. Now, if sales is something that is important to you, our next Coach Factory webinar, I'm going to talk about sales strategies. I'm excited about that. Sales is something that's always been fun to me. So, we're going to be talking about selling, the sales process, how to deal with objections, all sorts of fun stuff. So we will be sending out a mailing on that probably next week. It'll be in a couple of weeks on Wednesday again, but I would love to have you there if you want to take these leads and turn those leads into customers. That will be the next step. So I am so glad that you are here. I'm glad you joined me. I hope you got something out of this. Let me know in the comments if you got something from this. If you got one thing, a couple of things, and if it was terrible, you can tell me that too. If I was just overstating the obvious, I can take the feedback. I would love to just get any kind of feedback because I'm here to be of service. And as well, if there is ever a resource that you need where it's just my coaching agreement, I just want to know, am I doing this right? If that is something that's important to you, you can go to coachfactory.co and then slash request. There's a form there and you can tell us what you need. Oh, thank you. So, Nancy said, you support coaches, so you're interested in helping them. I support coaches too. We should talk sometime, Nancy. Reach out to me. We should just sit on Zoom and talk about how we can be of service to each other. I would love that. And Bob says, you appreciate my spirit. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate you too. I am so glad that you are here. And Joe said it was a good investment of his time. All good reminders. Thank you so much, Joe. I am so happy. I'm here to be of service. That's why we do this for free. I'm here to help you. And everything we do is in service of you. So love the feedback. Anything we can do, anything else we can do to be more of service to you, to help you grow your business, better serve your clients, and create that flywheel of leads filling up your inbox. We're here to do it. Thanks so much for being here, and we will see you in a couple weeks.